Hello. In this clip from our Justia webinar, Effective Time Management for Attorneys, Chris Early shares the key takeaways of time management while answering audience questions. If you want to see more Justia videos on law practice and legal marketing, be sure to subscribe to our channel. Awesome. Thank you, Chris. Okay, so we'll now move on to audience questions, as Chris said. So if anyone has questions, just a reminder to submit them through that Q&A button at the control panel at the bottom of your screen. It looks like we've already got a couple, so we can go ahead and dive right in. Okay, our first one here is, how can I adapt the time management strategies discussed when unexpected things pop up in my schedule?
Certain things you can control, certain things you cannot control. Okay, so I would structure the day as much as you can exert control over your day. There's always going to be a curveball, but I find that curveballs get reduced when we focus on managing our time proactively. I feel like there's a few less curveballs thrown our way. I hope that's helpful. It's a really good question. We can't totally control the time, but we can have just about full control. It's pretty darn close to that. There's always going to be an outlier, but if you structure things, I think you're less likely to be derailed by those random, sudden things, those fires that start popping up on you.
Thank you for that feedback. Another question we got is, how do you recommend going about getting to the point of delegation when you can't really afford to hire additional employees?
I get that. I understand that. I think there's a bevy of talent in the world that is very affordable, that it may not be as expensive. You could maybe just get someone 5 hours a week. And I want to encourage everyone, this isn't a cost. This is an investment. You're buying a really good book. I encourage you to read Buy Back Your Time. I think you have Buy Back Your Time. It's by Dan Martell. It's a really good book. And this is not a cost, it's an investment. If you could just afford maybe 5 hours a week, you're already you're twisting the dial on your time management, right? You're helping yourself out. You've just gained 5 hours. You've bought 5 hours of your time to do the high level attorney work. If it's, I would encourage you, if need be, do whatever you need to do to find that money in the budget, to allocate that towards freeing you up. And that's going to snowball. You're going to say, oh, I kind of like this. I like the way this is. I'm going to do this more, start to make more money so you can hire more people to help you out. But you got to start somewhere. I started with nothing from scratch. I'm very sensitive to that question. I get that. But you got to start somewhere, right? No matter how small.
Awesome. Okay, and we have time for a couple more questions. So the next one, I'm not sure if you have anything specific about this. I know you talked about distractions, but this person says, do you have any experience or insight specifically for ADHD lawyers with time management, or any books that you recommend on that subject?
Really good question. I think that you have to find what works for you. So there's a lot of tools out there. We just scratched the surface on a lot of these tools that are available. Give them a shot and then find what works for you, right? Like what works for me may not work for you, right? I think it will, but you won't know until you try. So test some things out and see what works for you. You won't know until you try. But I believe in innovating and progressing with these things and trying things out. And if it works, great. If not, you can find something else probably, right? But there's definitely a way to save time, no matter however that looks to you, by whatever means possible. I encourage you to explore that.
Awesome. Okay, and I think the last question that we have time for today is, how many days per week do you try to structure your schedule to include those business development efforts and meetings that you kind of touched on?
Every day. I think you should be working on your business, your practice every day. Right? It depends if you're self-employed. I don't know if most people on the call are self-employed. I am. So I need to focus on business development, but I'm always thinking about tomorrow. How do I always know where you're trying to get to, always know the destination. Even if you don't own your firm, right? You're working, right? But figure out where you're trying to get to, know where you're trying to get to in your career. If you're thinking about starting your practice at some point, lay the groundwork for starting your own practice at some point. Whatever it is you want to do, I think you have to be very focused. And on what the road looks like to get there, so you know the steps to take, and to be very focused on that path.
Awesome. Well, thank you, Chris, for all of your insight, and thank you all for all of your questions. Chris, I know you had a few other things that you wanted to go over briefly, so I'll hand things back to you, and then I will close us out afterward.
Let me just go. So I encourage anyone on the call to reach out to me. Reach out to me. I'd love to talk with you. I'm a nerd of this stuff. It's probably easy to see that, but I like this stuff. I'll just let the cat out of the bag. I like running my practice more than practicing law. I like the business side a lot more. I'd rather scale my business than be in court, frankly, right? That's where I lean to. That's my happy place. Maybe it isn't for you, but do whatever it is that you energizes you, right? If you would like to, please leave me a review. I'd love to hear your feedback. We really grow with referrals and reviews. If you have a Massachusetts case, personal injury case, I'd be happy to look at it. If you have a Massachusetts case that's not a personal injury case, I'd be happy to put you in touch with someone who is. But let's keep the conversation going. I'd love to hear from you. I don't have a whole lot of knowledge or answers on this, but I'll give you my best answer. If you ever have a question you want to chew the fat on, I encourage you to definitely reach out to me. I'd love to talk with you at any point, so please don't be shy.
Awesome. Thank you, Chris. Thanks for watching. We hope you enjoyed this video, and if you did enjoy it, please hit the like button and subscribe to our channel for more videos on law practice and legal marketing. See you in our next clip.